So I've come to notice that whenever you challenge a fairly popular philosophical idea, there are always certain people who will try to make you believe that if you take away this one idea, then all of society will come crumbling down like a game of Jenga. People say this about the concept of God as defined in a certain sense. They'll say if you take away the concept of the Christian God or the Jewish God or the Islamic God, then all of society will come crumbling down. The moral decay will take hold and we'll be left with nothing. People say this about nationalism, people say this about statism, any authority-based system of beliefs, basically. They say that if you take away that means of acquiring morality, then we won't have morality, and we'll just, I guess, kill each other and, run naked in the streets with fire. Or any such variation on that terrifying scenario. And I think it's interesting that we always encounter this idea that if we remove this idea, then everything will be destroyed. But all of these concepts we create are just intellectualizations, rationalizations of emotions, instincts, things that we already feel. So, just because we take away the idea, the words and the intellectualism surrounding it, it doesn't mean that our instincts will change. Human beings have a natural disposition to empathy. We naturally understand the value of working together and cooperating to, successfully reach certain goals. And let's take nationalism, for instance. When you create a nation, people claim that this allows you to bring people together under a common banner. But of course this makes no sense, because if your value is to bring people together under a common banner, then why not simply bring people together under the banner of a global society, a society of human beings on Earth, not just Canadians or Americans. And if you believe that grouping humans all in one category is too idealistic, then fine, break them up into different categories, maybe based on intelligence or emotional disposition or age or whatever else. If you believe that we should break up the groups into smaller groups, then just do that. But creating a nation, all that does is it segregates you from people that you might normally identify with outside of your nation, and it forces you in with people that you wouldn't normally identify with, assuming that you don't identify with all humans. So nationalism is arbitrary, divisive, and useless as a philosophy. So I think that's a block that we can easily take out of the Jenga pile, and nothing will come crumbling down. I think we will be better for it, and let's do it. Another divisive bigotry that is very much similar to nationalism is racism. I think that's another Jenga block we can slide out, and it's all good. We won't destroy everything. Another one is, there's a few that are very similar in my mind. Religions, statism. When you appeal to a certain authority that's imbued with magical powers for whatever reason. Many people believe that religious leaders or state officials are imbued with some ability to act in a more responsible or socially conscious manner, and this simply is just not the case. Whatever characteristics you apply to human beings will obviously apply to all human beings, regardless of whether or not they're part of the state or a religion of some kind. And people often criticize me by saying that I believe that if we take away certain religious ideas, and if we take away the idea of statism and nationalism, then everything will just become perfect and utopian. But that's not what I believe. I don't believe that at all. I don't think anything will ever become perfect. I think we'll always have a little bit of famine, we'll always have a little bit of poverty, illness, whatever, disparity of some kind. That's unavoidable. We are stuck in a certain realistic situation, but within this situation we can choose to support certain ideas. It does make a difference. I think that's very important. It makes all the difference in the world sometimes, whether or not we support an idea. For instance, murder will never go away. Slavery will never go away. But if we condemn slavery as something that is wrong, if we condemn murder as something that is wrong, then at least it'll happen less. Like, lots of times people will just say that religions will always form, and states will always form, and abusive relationships will always form, and tribalistic, racist mentalities will always form. Fine. That's all fine. I totally agree with that. Human beings are naturally tribalistic, I believe. But that doesn't mean we can't support what we think is better. That will determine, to a degree, how we will react and how we will act in a situation. And that's the value of ideas. That's the value of philosophy. To determine the best ideas out there that can guide us in the best way towards happiness and good times for all, all that jazzy good stuff that we all love. Anyway, I have ranted for long enough, I believe, and so I shall bid you adieu until next time.